Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, and a little bit of laughter. Because as you know, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. And we're here with someone today who has a lot of wisdom to impart to us. Meredith, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi. First, thank you so much for having me on. My name is Meredith Beardmore. I am a therapist, an author, and also a YouTuber. I have the YouTube channel Men With Mare, which is where I react to songs that are requested and popular ones that are very lyric driven and heavy. So I react to it from a therapeutic approach. So it's a little bit of free therapy and with listening to your favorite songs.
Wow. Couldn't get better in life than that. That is amazing.
Fun.
Where are you located, Meredith?
I just moved back to Ohio to get more family support about a year and a half ago from New York City. So I live in Columbus, Ohio. I went to grad school here. So yeah, I'm in Ohio.
Okay. I knew you had some city vibes in you. I could feel it. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, one of the reasons I love doing this show and what we've actually gotten amazing feedback from people on is this type of segment where we talked to divorced humans about the things that they learned from their divorce, because we always think about the divorce process as being so traumatic and hard, but we actually learn a lot. So when you reached out, I was like, you're a perfect person to come tell us what you learned. And then we're going to chat about your book a little bit. So Meredith, take us, I know obviously you probably learned a million things during your divorce, but what are 3 of the things that you'd like to share with us today?
Okay. So the very first one that I would like to share is that I learned that I was not crazy. I was intuitive. I think that I was told so many times that I was making problems, and I wasn't making problems. I was actually spotting them. And the problem is that so many women are taught in our society to override that knowing, even if there's not proof. We have intuitive knowing and gut feelings. We're encouraged always to stay quiet, to keep the peace, and just explain away that. But it happened for me very, very slowly, where I thought at first it's just, oh, you pick and choose your battles in marriage. Well, it got all the way to where there were battles around even medical care. My son had chronic ear infections, and they highly recommended him getting tubes. And that was just a complete argument between my ex and I. And I didn't understand, because I was the one at home with this child in pain and their poor tummy also getting ripped up by antibiotics. And it just didn't make any sense. And I just had this very sick feeling all the time where I was like, I don't know. I feel like, and it was true, my partner had become my adversary. So this person that I thought we were going to protect our child with became the person I had to protect my child from. And then later came out everything. It was just on the surface, these arguments that were deflection from what was really going on. So I found out in one day the extent of drug abuse, financial implications of the drug use on me as well, and infidelity. So it all was there. I just didn't know. And so I didn't need that proof. My body already knew. I just was having someone reinforcing that I couldn't believe my instinct. So I learned that I am not crazy. I am very intuitive. And we know, even if we don't know, have proof.
Yeah, that I could have said, yes, ditto to so much of that. Same. And it's I appreciate you sharing that so much, because I talk a lot about emotional abuse and what happened to me. psychological, spiritual, financial, go down the list, all of it, right? Except
Yeah.
physical. That was the one thing that they didn't do.
Mhm.
Physical on me at least. And often when I talk about this on social media, I get a lot of people that say, "But did it really like not like,
Mhm.
really? Like, does this
Ooh,
really happen to women? Do women really get abused like this?" And it makes me want to throttle people because I'm like,
yes.
yeah, I talk to women every day going through this. And so I think it's so important. And I want to validate for people listening that it takes us a long time to talk about what happened to us
Mhm.
for
Absolutely.
safety reasons, right? For safety
Yes.
reasons. And we protect our children. And so I've had a lot of people say, to me, "Well, you're 6 years out. Why are you just talking about this now?" Because I can, right? It's
Mhm.
like I feel safe enough to. And so I just appreciate you sharing that because I want people to hear this really does happen to women. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I appreciate that so much, Meredith. Yeah. Okay. So what was the second part of this that you learned?
My second one is that, um, my freedom is worth the fight. I knew the divorce was expensive. And I talk about this in the book, though. I I have went into complete debt over trying to get away from my ex and to protect our child. And the process, of course, like, and seeing the numbers and everything, it's excruciating. Like, I wanted it over. And thankfully, I had great therapists that I just would be like, just charging that on the credit card. Like, what's the matter now? Like, I had to support myself. So, and so I had friends though too that would keep it in check. And I just feel as if looking back, like, even though I'm still climbing out of debt, it's part of the reason why I had to leave New York City to come back to Ohio because it's
Mhm.
cheaper here. And had to make those hard decisions. It still was worth every penny because it was like every cost of it was a down payment toward my peace. And I as much as I wanted it to go faster, and you want fast, but, like, fast doesn't always equal freedom, and as much as I felt like I was never going to end, it does, and you do get on the other side, but it feels like it's never going to end, and I had so many moments where I just wanted to give up things I knew I shouldn't, or just to appease him, just to get out of it, and I'm so thankful that I didn't.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Again, same. Yeah. You're like saying my story back to me 100%. All of that. And,
Mhm.
I think so many times we're told to fight, fight, fight. And sometimes it's like you have to just be really strategic about what you're willing to
Absolutely.
give up. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Last thing for today that you learned until we get into the book and many more lessons in there.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And the last one for me, the last lesson was to give myself grace. Like, just because there was no way that I could have predicted this. And I felt so much shame, and especially also as because my profession is I'm a therapist, like, I held myself to the standard, like, that I'm not just human. I should have known. But it's like everybody has blind spots. We can't, and some of us are not, we cannot predict the future, and we don't know what our partners are going to do under a certain amount of stress. I mean, for my ex, I I never thought that he would react to parenthood and those responsibilities in the way that he did. Never in a million years. Like, I thought I was very diligent about picking, you know, falling in love, like, it was about love, but then also about picking a partner that, we had the same, I thought, like, beliefs and values, and also didn't know how people would react with the pandemic that happened for the first time ever. So, I would say give I gave myself giving myself grace. I should have given myself more of that and blocked out the noise of the people on the sidelines though too, because I even had a neighbor at one point being like, when she found out that we were getting a divorce, she was like, "But he's a good dad. I see him taking him on bike rides." And I was like, "Okay." So trust that, like, what's going on behind closed doors, and even though people might see from the outside this bare minimum or what should be done as like, "Oh my gosh, you should be grateful." No. So that really, really used to affect me, like, like what these people were thinking and saying to me. but the unsolicited bad advice is like none of my business. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important. Totally agree with that. So tell us about your book.
okay. So, the Plan B Chronicles Divorce Defiance Liberation is part memoir. I was writing to survive during this time, but it also is me as a client of therapy, not the therapist. So there is a lot of tools that I learned that I discuss in there. And also it's, a survivor story with like sprinkled in pop culture because there were a lot of things going on at the time that were reflecting back to me, which was just it felt crazy and ironic, like scandal, like all of that. So all of that is woven in together, and the chapters are very short because I have ADHD. I need to I got a couple pages and I'm like, okay, I need to go. So it's a very quick read, but it really goes through I mean, sexual abuse, just the whole the weight of realizing I'm doing this all on my own, but I was doing it all on my own anyways, even
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
marriage, and just how to handle all of it. There's a lot in
I can't
there.
wait to read it. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Well, Meredith, before we let you go, if somebody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave them with today?
Life can be so much better. It will. It will. It will. And you can do this. Like you are stronger than you know. I'm sure any woman that goes through it, I feel like they're a badass to be able to handle this. Like to do it, it is hard. So I know that that's so simple, but it's really just like you can do this, and you just know that your future self is gonna thank you. Like I'm finally my future self when I was just like, "Ugh," like and I did hear that, and I'd be like, whatever. But no, you really are paying forward to your future self.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to link the
Oh,
book in the show notes. And I just appreciate your vulnerability and sharing your story and your energy. And we'll talk to you soon.
wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.